So good. I like how this intro is like we threw it together, just like messing around with like all the loop samples and stuff, and it's just fun.
I don't like that your daughter doesn't like it.
I mean, she's a teenager. She doesn't like anything.
She likes you.
Sometimes. Hey guys, welcome back to Best of Five. I hope everyone's doing well today. This podcast is coming out a little later than usual. Had some scheduling conflicts with good old G over here.
Yeah, my bad.
It's all good. We don't have enough followers for anyone to really care that this podcast is 2 days late.
But if you follow us, we appreciate you still listening.
Yeah, we're definitely posting this one a little late. We're kind of working on a new schedule, so we don't necessarily do it the week of kind of thing. Maybe get a week ahead on podcasts, but we're still trying to figure that out.
What we should have worked on is how to figure out our new interface.
Yeah, we definitely just spent an hour messing with this thing, and we figured it out, but it's not correct, but it works, so we're just like, leave it and figure it out later.
It's definitely smarter than us, and we like jerry-rigged it to make it work to our advantage, but
Yeah.
I feel like there's an easier way of doing this.
Yeah, definitely. Like, the one we were using is kind of, inexpensive, like, easy to use interface, very user-friendly, and then we're just like, hey, let's buy a super cool one. So we did, and now it's like, we don't know how to use it.
So it shows you the progress of our studio.
Yeah, upgrading every day. We have pop filters, kind of, for all the microphones now, and
It's like that whole like 2 steps forward, 5 steps back kind of thing with us right now.
yeah,
So
but audio quality is improving, I hope.
I hope so. You guys let us know for sure. So Christopher, how are you? How's your week?
I'm good, man. Just hanging out, getting ready for some Halloween action. How about
Ew,
yourself?
Gross.
I'm actually not doing anything on Halloween.
If you were doing anything, what would you dress up as?
An adult that has to work the next day usually, but because of the pandemic, I don't have to work the next day, so I haven't really thought that far.
That's a weird costume, man.
Yeah, man, I go super like method with my costumes. I get really
Your method acting?
Yeah, method acting with my costumes.
Just straight Daniel Day-Lewis on it?
Yeah, I prefer Jim Carrey because he's a crazy person.
I mean, he only method acts for like one movie, right?
Yeah, it was just the one that counts though.
That's fair.
It was the Andy Kaufman movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then everyone hated him. He's like, wow, he's an asshole just like Andy Kaufman was. He's brilliant.
Yeah, honestly, like that movie, I've never seen it, but I watched the documentary.
I watched the documentary too. I didn't watch the actual movie. I watched the documentary.
Okay, fine.
All right, you want to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
As always, if you guys have any suggestions for subjects you want in the hat, please let us know, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on our pages, on Instagram, or whatever you're following this podcast on. Just let us know any ideas of subjects that we had that you guys want to put on here, and if we answer it, we'll give you a shout out.
And definitely let us know if we should make like a Facebook page because we're both kind of like nobody pays attention. But if you guys really pay attention to it, let us know and we'll get that going too. We're professionals.
Oh boy! All right, first subject.
Round one.
Is it what we were already talking about?
No.
Okay.
I mean, kind of.
Oh, Jesus.
2020.
Oh, man. That's all right. This timer's going now.
Oh, 7 minutes for this? We need like 3 years for this one,
Oh,
man.
man.
It's a good vision to have. I don't have 2020 vision, so that's nice.
Yeah. Are we talking about our eyesight or the year?
I mean, I feel like 2020 is...
It was supposed to be the year of all the fun stuff, man.
Honestly, yeah, I was planning on going to England for my 30th birthday to go watch some soccer, and that obviously didn't happen. But I wonder if 2020 is going to be like relatable to all of us in the same way, because I feel like there was people that either embraced the fact that we had to stop what we were doing, and there's some people that really just like struggled a lot from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like for example, I think I did both for sure. When it first happened, it was St. Patrick's Day week. I just got back from Austin, and I remember the airport being busy when we left, and then when we came back, DIA was just empty.
Yeah.
And then I just went on this huge drinking binge for 5 years, and then 2 years ago, I was just kind of you know what, maybe I should do something with my life during 2020, and then made the recording studio, had this podcast, and I don't know, man. It's 2020 was a weird year, but I think there was a lot of good things that came out of it if you kind of made it come at you that way.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot. Well, for me, I guess I'm talking about my personal experience 2020 so far, but it was absolutely terrible. In the beginning, and then I took kind of the whole pandemic and then tried to turn something into it, I guess. And if you think about it, it started off, I think it was on St. Patrick's Day that kind of everything started shutting down, and you're just like, wow, that is great. And this whole like everything lines up perfectly for everyone to have fun. Like all the holidays are on the right days, and then all the holidays are canceled.
Dude, that's right. Everything was like on a Saturday,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. Halloween's coming up on this Saturday, but it's Halloween, so it's like,
I think Cinco de Mayo was on a Saturday too, actually. Like
yeah, dude,
4th of July, I think.
everything was lined up
That's
perfectly
wild.
this year, and no one could do anything on it. So I think like overall, like with that aspect, like it's been really bad. But like I said, personally, like it started off really bad with the pandemic starting, but then definitely flipped it on its head and turned it into something positive for me.
You know, did you notice that you had like a closer relationship with the people that you lived with? So like with like your daughter or with like your mom, and like did you notice that at all?
Oh, definitely. Like just having more time at home in general. I think my relationships have improved just because we're spending more time together. I'm not
Yeah.
spending 50 to 60 hours a week at a job, and I'm spending those hours at home.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how it forced you to just spend time with people, whether you
That
did.
sounds so bad.
Yeah, no, I said whether you like work, like whether you wanted to or not. Like there was that moment of like, hey, like we had to stay at home because we can't go out because everything's closed or because we have to work from home or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But like even with my roommates, like I can tell you now that we're closer than we've ever been because we had to go through that together.
Yeah.
And it's weird because like they're married and they have their dogs and I have my dog and they're like we all get along really well. But I honestly feel like it made me cherish those moments a little bit more with them. And I don't know, man, like 2020 is terrible, but I feel like the more we kind of dwell upon the fact that it is terrible, we forget the insights that we have, that like the good things that have come from that. Like I think I'm closer to my family than I was beforehand.
Yeah.
um
We've definitely hung out a lot more.
yeah, that's
Whether
right.
that being good or bad,
It's
depending
terrible.
on.
It's a terrible thing.
Yeah. Started playing like a lot of video games together now and having a good time doing that.
So yeah, I think it was kind of weird to see the digital age come like so quickly when it
Yeah.
came to interacting with people, because I remember like FaceTiming my mom, and I mean my mom got COVID, so that was pretty scary. And just like seeing my family get together and being like, all right, like what's the plan? Like how do we help my mom out without physically helping her out?
Yeah,
And,
yeah. Because she got sick, right?
yeah, she
Yeah.
got pretty sick, man. She was pretty close to going to the hospital, and thankfully she didn't. But yeah, I don't know. 2020 does suck, and it's not even just because of COVID. That's the crazy thing about it, man. There's been so much shit that's happened this year,
Right, right.
from like wildfires in Australia to like World War III, which everyone forgets about,
Yeah.
to like
We just glossed over World War III and the murder hornets.
yeah,
Because so much stuff was going on. You're just like, oh,
But
man.
it might be, honestly, it might be like the world is telling us, man, just take a minute, or just embrace it all, or whatever it is, and I mean, like everything that's been going through it sucks, because especially like the Black Lives Matter movement with the election going on, and then you have like COVID doing this, and then you have the LA winning titles, which is
Then
stupid.
oh, come on. But 3 states are completely on fire right now. Well, I don't know how the Oregon fire's going, but I know California is kind of screwed still. And Colorado, like us sitting here, like we have had 3 of the largest wildfires in Colorado history all at the same
like
time.
at 1 month, like
And
yeah.
then now those 3 fires have a possibility of turning into one big fire. I think they're like less than 10 miles apart right now or something.
Yeah.
And you're just like, come on, man.
I'm just hoping that we can take 2020 as a way of kind of embracing the good things that we have and the bad things that we notice, that we can get better at that.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope so, at least. I mean, I don't know. There was a moment where we didn't have toilet paper, and I thought that was super mediocre and crazy, but
That was pretty funny though. It's like, I know this joke has been said a million times, but it's like, oh no, there's a pandemic. What do I need? To wipe my ass. That's the first thing I need to do.
I can say that I think I've only well, I live by myself, so I've only bought like 2 packs of rolls since March, which sounds really gross, but at the same time, it's like, I don't need like a Sam's Club worth of like toilet paper to last me like, I don't know, like 3 weeks.
Yeah, because at the time of this pandemic starting, I was living like by myself with my daughter at my apartment.
It's not by yourself, dude.
Well, I mean, it kind of is since she's a minor, so it counts as a single person
I
household.
mean, if it's
according to
in the
government.
census, I think you're supposed to count it, right?
I forgot. No, I think it counts adults and then children are separate.
Oh, okay. They're not people.
Yeah, when you do it, it's like how many people live at the household that are older than 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't remember. I did the census and then I don't remember what the question.
Yeah, when was that? That was like at the beginning of the year, right?
Beginning of the year. Yeah, everything just blurred. Again, 2020, man.
It is the only time in my life where I feel like time's gone by so fast. and then so slow.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I turned 30 a month ago, and it feels like it was 3 months ago.
Yeah, dude, that was in September, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were like 34 now. Jeez.
I know. I look like it, man.
Yeah. But yeah, 2020 is what it is, and I'm glad like
Lessons learned, man.
people are coming out of it now. Oh, and that's time. Well, that was interesting topic to say the least.
That was a really hard first one, man.
Oh man.
It's because we're living in it right now.
Yeah, jumping out of the gate strong, dude.
You ever wonder what's gonna happen like after this podcast? Like, is 2020 gonna get worse?
We're not supposed to talk about it.
I'm just not. I just figuratively asking.
Round 2.
All right, next subject is agriculture. I have no idea why I
would
wrote.
you write this?
I don't know, man. So when we first started this podcast, we're just like, oh, thanks for starting the timer. We're just like, all right, we need 50 subjects written down, and we spent like 10 minutes each writing 25 subjects down, and I was just literally free writing anything that came to my mind at the time.
Spitting those hot bars.
Yeah, and apparently agriculture is one of them that I forgot about.
So I will be honest. I don't know necessarily what agriculture is because it's not farming, is it? God, I sound so stupid right now.
It's fine. It is. It's like not necessarily just farming, but the whole culture of like farming and then what that product goes to and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so okay,
So it's
so
like
I know
the economy of farming.
I know
I
it's
guess.
like, okay, so I know it is farming. I know that, but is it more so just also like the beef industry? Is that part of the agriculture industry, or is it? Would you consider it that?
I couldn't tell you. I really have no idea why I wrote this topic down.
Yeah. See, now we all sound like idiots. So if you guys can verify with us on the comment
I
section, or just
probably
write us.
when I wrote this down, I probably had a very specific topic that I wanted to talk about, and that was like
So
a
that was
month
your
ago.
first mistake.
Yeah, and that was a month ago, and now I already forgot it.
Agriculture. I mean, well, it is important. I mean, agriculture is definitely important to anything. Honestly, I think it is. This like it can be considered the central of our economy.
I think the United States like main export is a bunch of like agricultural things like corn and grain and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you guys are gonna hate us for this, especially if you're agriculture people. What was that? In high school, there was the. I was supposed to say FEMA. It's not FEMA.
The FFA, Future Farmers of
FFA.
America.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, that's. Did you ever do anything like that?
No, I definitely didn't.
Because I know Central didn't have that, right?
Yeah, I think they did. But it was definitely like a very like niche kind of group. And I think it was pretty small at Central. But like, yeah, this would be a perfect topic for my mom to be on because when she lived in Nebraska, she was worked for a grain company.
Yeah.
And she was in charge of like importing and exporting all the grains from where she lived at in Nebraska. So she would like count the grains, weigh the grains, kept like on price of like, I don't know if they counted like bushels, like the price of bushels and selling it and trying to maximize your profits and all that kind of stuff.
And it is kind of interesting too to think of how much agriculture does affect not even just like the food industry, but just I mean I'm sure like that goes into just like the fuel industry as well. Remember when like back in like the early 2000s when they're trying to making like corn fuel like a thing?
Oh yeah, they
E470.
That's the toll road, but yes, that one. I actually remember.
That's
My parents had like a Ford Taurus or something that was compatible with the corn fuel, and it was fine and it worked, as fuel. But it turned out like they got less miles per gallon and it was more expensive or something when they factored it out. So the whole idea kind of just like got pushed away.
Yeah.
Because I mean, say what you will about oil and gas, but that is a central part of our economy right now.
Yeah.
So we can't just invent a new fuel to get rid of it.
I think this is saying more so a lot about us and how much more we need to learn about agriculture. Simply because we do live in a huge county that relies a lot on that.
It's definitely one of the focal points of Weld County for sure.
And I think I've never been around it. I've had family that have like worked the fields if that's even a thing for like agriculture. But
yeah,
I think I'm about to do some stuff. Thanks, man. I have to go.
And
study.
this is the whole like kind of point of this podcast is like have thought-provoking things that like we may know a lot about or we may not know about, and for the audience to be like, oh, I know a lot about this kind of thing. But I guess it was a bad topic to pull out.
It's not a bad topic. I think
for us to
I think
on.
it's important for us to have these discussions. Honestly, like now I want to go home and like learn more about it because it's like, yeah, we should know more about it. Like I know more about probably the beef industry than I do about agriculture. But then again, it's like what really is like that's a smell of money.
Yeah, right. I think I love that. Anytime someone comes into Greeley, like a anybody for the Stampede kind of thing.
Yeah.
They always comment on the smell. And the key response that every single person from Greeley tells that celebrity or musician or whatever is coming in, it's like, yeah, that's the smell of money. And that's just the go-to quote, man.
Yeah.
Everyone always says like, oh, well, Greeley smells and all this kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, we do. We can't deny that, but that's how we make money, you know?
Did you know the highest, or the most popular thing that comes out of Greeley, or used to at least? Do you know what that was?
I do not.
It's potatoes.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know we were potato farmers.
Well, I mean, that's why at Greeley Central, where we were the Spuds, because we were huge in potatoes back in the day.
Yeah, way back when we were just Greeley High School. I say we because we both went there, but we're not there anymore, so I don't know why I said we.
Yeah, I'm not really attached to high school.
Once a wildcat, always a wildcat, bud.
I guess. I mean, yeah, no, sure.
Yeah.
My sister works there, so I have to be
Yeah,
supportive.
my daughter goes there, so I love wildcats. Rare.
But I mean, you know, I will say this about like farmers especially, like they don't have it easy. I think they have it easier now because of technology, but I mean, it doesn't mean that their job isn't
Hard still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Not hard.
You going to the double negatives
Yeah,
again?
this
We
is-
already had a conversation about this, and you and Hector gave me so much crap.
Always.
So you're not allowed to use double negatives.
No, but I mean, honestly, man, like that's got to be a hard job, especially when you're relying on that to make you money. And,
Yeah,
and I know,
definitely.
I know there's been situations where like you have like a hailstorm that ruins your whole crop, and like there's winters or summers where it's too dry, and like I can't
Yeah.
imagine like the stress that comes through that. And
I know, and like something with agriculture that I would love to learn about is like the mom and pop kind of farmer versus big
Industry.
agriculture kind of industry that like pays farmers and to plant their crop, kind of specific crops, and how that's hurting or helping the industry kind of thing.
You know what I just came up with? What we have 30 seconds to talk about is the simple fact that we're having a lot of people sell these lands, and so we're having less farming done and more
Yeah.
building of homes. So how is that going to affect us in the future in the sense of like producing food for enough people? Because we're growing as a population, but these areas are shrinking in size.
Yeah, definitely. And like I definitely have seen this idea before, but I don't know much about it. But like how we've always done farming as like spread out, but then someone came up with the idea of modeling after like the residential thing and start building up.
That's wild. Yeah.
So now they're like looking into vertical farming, and I think that's definitely needs to be done sooner than later. Oh,
Womp,
and that's
womp.
time.
Hey, we did it.
Hey, yeah, that was interesting. We're gonna get yelled at so hard for that one though.
Yeah, this might be the most offensive topic that we've talked about.
Yeah, right.
It's probably not. All right, next one.
Round 3.
Oh, nice.
Something fun.
Best Avenger that's not Ant-Man. I told you that was going to come up.
Oh, dude, we've called it 2 podcasts in a row. All right, starting timer. So last podcast, we kind of were just joking around in the beginning and riffing on MLB playoffs, and then all of a sudden the MLB playoffs come up. And then before this podcast, we were writing that down and we were just riffing off that idea. And then now that idea came up.
I told you.
You told me to save it.
You're up. Best Avenger.
You go
Now
first.
we should separate this into two categories. I think it should be one, who's your favorite, like your favorite Avenger, and who is like the second thing should be like who is like the best Avenger in the sense of like the most powerful versus like your favorite, right? Or do you just want to talk about the best one? I guess.
We can do favorites and then best one for sure, but I don't think it should be like the most powerful. I just think like the best Avenger in your opinion.
And this
regardless
is
of
all
anything
MCU,
else.
right?
Yeah, we're not going comic books. We're going movie Avengers. MCU.
Well, if we're going strongest
Movie
Avenger,
universe.
it has to be Captain Marvel, man. Like they just made her seem so like no struggle whatsoever. I felt like,
Yeah.
Which I mean, I guess she's too new for me to really understand that, but
Yeah, she doesn't
But I
have
get it.
enough exposure in the cinematic universe necessarily. The Captain Marvel movie, she was definitely like super powerful and then like cutting through spaceships and stuff. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
But best Avenger is definitely Iron Man.
Is that your favorite or the best?
I think he's the best.
Okay. And why do you think he's the best?
Dude, he's the one that sacrificed himself. Sorry if you haven't seen the movie.
Oh, yeah,
yet.
spoilers.
My bad.
Jesus, Jake.
And that's been 2 years. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's been a year.
Has it?
It's been a year.
Oh my, not allowed to talk about 2020 anymore,
Right.
but there it is.
I would say Iron Man, man. I think his arc is. I mean, obviously, if it wasn't for him, the whole universe wouldn't happen. But I think his arc is the only one that's been fully completed.
Yeah.
In the sense of, you look at the first movie and it's all about his like like the cockiness and him realizing that his own destruction is his own product is making destruction. So that's when he starts becoming the better person. And then throughout this, he struggles through like the what's good for him and what's also good for the world, and like him taking the ultimate sacrifice to make sure that the universe like is there. Like I think that's like the fullest circle that you can find in any type of superhero.
Yeah.
And he's always very selfless, especially in the last two movies.
Yeah, I can agree. Like he definitely went from like arrogant, like cocky, like character to like kind of the father figure, I guess, kind of training. I guess Spider-Man would be the best example, taking him under his wing and kind of doing that, and then making, spoiler, the ultimate sacrifice at the end. I am Iron Man, snap.
But he's also like so he's so not passionate but like obsessed with being better.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you look at like his transitions through the movies, and I get like technology like movie wise actually helps, but like when he fought Thanos once, he knew what he had to do to make sure that didn't happen again.
Yeah.
And every suit that he's had has been better and better, and like he had that obsession as compared to like a Thor or like a Captain America. Like they're not smart enough to kind of get that way. They're just always pushed like themselves to the limit, which is always awesome. But I think with like Iron Man, he always beat people with his smarts than he did with his like strength. If that makes sense.
I do.
So, what about you?
So the rant I was going to go on earlier, you told me to not do it, but Fat Thor is by far the best Avenger. Not Thor, but Fat Thor specifically. And why I think Fat Thor is the best Avenger is because like when you think of it, you thought of that character as like, oh, he's fat now, he's funny, like it's a comedic character. But really what it showed people is that superheroes are infallible and they have problems as well. Because if you look at that actual character of Fat Thor, you see that like after, again, spoilers, he decapitated Thanos, he's like aim for the head or whatever, he like spiraled into depression. And that showed like superheroes, even Thor being a god, can suffer from those problems as much as humans. So I think that made him a super relatable character.
Well, it is funny because I think there was an article that I was reading that was talking about how a lot of people were accusing Marvel of fat shaming him. But I mean, you're right. Like I think they had that aspect of like, dude, like these people, as much as like they could be godlike or superhero, like they're still have emotions, so they're still in some way like human form, right?
Yeah.
They're talking about how Iron Man doesn't make fun of him when he passes by him, like like when he finally gets like to like
because their relationship was always like
they like the only person that really made fun of him was Don Cheadle, if you think about it.
Yeah.
But that's also for comic relief. But at the end of the day, like everyone understood where he was at.
Yeah, they understood like the kind of place he was at, and he was definitely struggling from depression, and how people were kind of understanding of that. And then at the end, I think that like arc that he did in that movie where he kind of became Thor again. He kind of realized what he needed to do to help himself kind of move on from where he was at. And he had the braided beard, which was super tight.
Did you notice that happened when he got both of the hammers?
Yeah.
That was super cool. I love that movie. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. And it sucks because that was probably one of the best movies of 5 years ago. I mean, last year. But it's never going to be called that because it's a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the story in that movie was awesome. Just the whole arc of the whole MCU in general on whatever phase 2 or whatever phase they were on.
Yeah.
Concluded.
Phase 3.
Yeah, phase 3 concluded with that movie. And all of those movies led up to this one point. And I think that movie delivered on exactly like what it was supposed to do.
I think the one thing the one problem I have with like superhero movies sometimes is the simple fact that at one point or other, it seems like everyone's equally powered. And I hate that. So like Star-Lord fighting like Iron Man. God, we're getting so nerdy.
I know, right?
Like the fact that like Iron Man is like getting overpowered at times by Star-Lord, or that like you know what I mean, like little things like that, or that Scarlet Witch gonna just like dismantle Thanos, but like it takes like a whole team to do it. It was like sometimes I'm just kind of like I get why they have to do that
For a plot.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like
and there's a definite issue even like in comic books too, where they make one character too powerful, and then they have to like nerf them down. Like the Hulk, for example, he literally has infinite strength because his strength is all based off of how angry he is. So why couldn't like the Hulk get angry and just like literally rip Thanos in half?
Yeah,
kind of thing.
But I mean that's also just like nitpicking, and that's what I need to stop doing. Is just watch the movie and just enjoy it.
Yeah, but so. I guess looking at that. Oh man, I was gonna. All right. Well, that's time around.
Good recovery. Good recovery.
Round 4.
All right, what's the next subject?
Next subject is going to be overrated bands. Or brands or bands?
I think it's brands. 'Cause
Overrated
I put both
brands?
of them. Yeah, brands.
Oh, okay. I would rather talk about overrated bands, but overrated brands. All right, timer's going.
So any overrated brands you think that are out there?
I mean, there's probably a lot. Like the whole,
It's like Kroger.
yeah, Kroger.
Actually, Kroger's pretty underrated.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't mind with
The
them.
Kroger brand is pretty good. But the one that came to my mind was like that influencer brand that was super. It's called Supreme. There it is. Supreme, where they
Supreme
sell
brand.
like $200 T-shirts with like
Just the word Supreme
just
on
the
it.
word Supreme on it, and all these influencers, like Instagram people, YouTube people, are buying it just to say like, look, I can spend $300 on a T-shirt, kind of thing. That idea alone makes me so annoyed with the whole internet culture.
You're getting so old, dude.
I'm not old.
So
I'm just
old.
reasonable.
Those youngins.
I'm just reasonable. And same thing with like Gucci or any of those like purse
Champion.
brands. Champion?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what Champion is, but I
Like,
would
everyone's wearing it. I'm just like, word. Like that was like cool, like in the '90s, and I get it. Everything's coming back.
definitely not say Champion's overrated because that's still like a $25 sweatshirt.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But everyone's wearing it.
I think you're getting old by hating things that people think are cool.
I think Xbox is overrated.
Wow. PS4 edgelord over
I'm
here.
also I'm a Sony guy. I've always been a Sony guy, and
See-
I guess we could say that for another topic. But Microsoft in general, I think there's not really a lot of good things that they're putting out right now. Like they really, after like Windows XP, like I feel like they've never been able to like capitalize better on that. I mean, granted, yes, like Xbox is like they're doing their thing and that's cool, but that's all they really have. I feel like.
I mean, honestly, like I've never been a Mac guy. Like with our setup we have right now is the first time I've ever actively used a Mac in any capacity. Like I have an Android, I don't have an iPhone.
You have like a phone that's like 20 years old, dude.
Yeah, I'm never getting I'm never getting an iPhone ever.
Unless I buy it for you, watch. It's gonna
Okay.
happen.
I run Windows on my HP. This PlayStation 4 is the first PlayStation I've ever owned. Like I've had Xbox and Nintendo before that. Like I am a Microsoft fan for sure.
Well, the biggest
well,
reason.
not fan, but
No, but
that's what I use.
I mean, but they're also affordable, and that's like I understand like that.
did
pull
you just
to
call
it.
me poor?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But no, I mean, like, cause I used to use Microsoft for everything as well, but they would always crap on me, and so I was like, you know what, I'd rather just like save up the money and like buy a Mac, and that's gonna last me at least like 7 or 8 years, and that'll be fine.
And this is where I disagree with you because an overrated brand for me, 100% is Apple.
I think the iPhone, yes.
just-
I think everything outside of that, for the most part, no. I think like
I think everything Apple is super overrated.
you're overrated.
Because there's no reason a MacBook should cost $1,500 because it doesn't do anything more or less than like an HP can do.
Yeah, but you can definitely like have that computer forever as compared to like an HP that's going to last you 3 or 4 years. And you have to get another one.
I've had my laptop for 7 years and it works just fine still.
Loser.
As long as you keep up with the updates and you don't look on any sketchy things on the internet.
Dude, yeah, but Windows is so stupid sometimes because it's just like, oh, I'm working on this, and it's just like resetting now. And you're just like, are you kidding me?
See, I've never had those
That's
issues
happened
with
to me
Windows.
so many
I've
times.
never had those issues with
But
Windows.
also, I think we have this in a subject, so we got to skip that.
No,
brand
this is
topic.
overrated brands. I'm
Okay,
talking about the most overrated brand of all time.
Shoe brands.
No,
Shoe
dude,
brands.
no,
Skechers.
I'm staying on iPhones.
New
because
Balances
I hate
are- New Balances-
iPhones so much.
New Balances.
Don't
are
try to change
overrated.
this topic to dad shoes.
We have it in.
We have
in the
3
hat.
minutes, and I'm gonna complain and bitch for 3 minutes about how stupid iPhones are.
You're the worst.
How about this? The new iPhone that just came out, Apple claimed to reduce packaging waste by not packaging it with headphones or a charger. How can you explain that, G?
That makes sense. I have the charger. I have plenty of chargers at home that you can use with that.
You buy a brand new phone, and say, hey, you have 0 phones in your entire life. Your first phone is whatever the Apple 11 that just came out, and you're
12.
supposed to
12
see.
Pro Max.
That's how much overrated I think it is. I don't even know. And you buy this phone, you get home, you're like, oh, I can't even turn it on.
You can.
They make you buy a $20
sure-
charger
I'm sure
along
they'll-
with it
I'm
instead
sure
of
they'll
buying
ask
a
you and be
$1,000
like,
phone
hey.
without a charger.
I already have the charger, so if I buy it,
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
fine.
You have one, cool,
Yeah.
because you're a Apple edgelord. I get it.
Okay.
But like somebody who's buying a,
We're seriously
like
gonna
for me,
Okay.
for
well,
me.
Okay. Well, I get it. You don't like Apple. We gotta get with more topics
No,
here.
man. This is what you said, overrated brands, and now I'm hate Apple so much. I hate them, and I'm ranting.
What are
on
we
it.
recording on right now?
See, and that's exactly what I was saying. This is the first time I've ever had an Apple product that I've used regularly.
Well, I'm gonna have to throw that subject out. I'm gonna have to look for it and throw it out because you're arguing it right now.
I would love to talk about it again because I have way more time to talk about it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
just
Well,
for you-
anyways.
just
all
for
right,
you,
okay.
we'll move on.
Anyways.
Just for you,
Anyways.
we'll
We
move
have
on.
we have 2 minutes left. Okay. Any other brands that you think that are overrated.
I'm
You're
trying to
like,
not
"Nope,
say
that's
Apple.
it."
I'm trying to not say Apple.
Like any shoe brands, are you kind of like, all right, this is kind of like
I'm not really a shoe guy.
Well, I'm not a sneakerhead either, but I mean, there's some like I love Nikes, and I can understand why people don't are like that's super overrated.
Yeah,
But
I'm definitely like I'm wearing Under Armour shoes right now, which the idea of wearing an Under Armour shoe never kind of occurred to me because Under Armour is, like the clothing.
yeah, I
And
remember
like they
them as
made
like
they made the undershirts or Under Armour, I guess. That name makes way more sense to me as I just said that. The sweat material cool you off, kind of blah blah blah. Everyone knows what Under Armour is, but then they branched out to all apparel like sportswear and like shirts. Shoes I would never thought of would be the same brand that I wore under my uniform
Under your
during
armor.
baseball and that kind of stuff.
most overrated brand. I'm gonna get so much heat for this one. CrossFit.
Oh, that is a brand. It's not even like a thing. It's like a company that if you call your gym a CrossFit gym, you have to buy a franchise,
Yeah,
right?
it's like a copyright. I'm not.
100% agree.
I
with
understand why people do that stuff, and it's just not for me. And I do think it's a little bit overrated, especially because some of the gyms that I've been
you.
at.
I'll say it. CrossFit is a cult.
Maybe,
I'll say it. CrossFit is a cult.
I mean,
The only thing that I can rant on harder than Apple is CrossFit.
the biggest thing about it is that the times that I've been in specific gyms, there's always been like that push of like doing that extra rep when I know what my body can handle. I'm just like, I'm not gonna do it, man. Like,
Yeah.
and like you guys are like I'm all about form when it comes to lifting, So, that would
So,
say them.
My brother he doesn't really do it anymore, was a nationally ranked, not even nationally, he went to Worlds for
finish it.
powerlifting. I'm not going to finish the story. Never mind. All right, that's time. That definitely has to be a story for another
that was
time.
Heated, man.
Oh, God.
We almost punched each other.
We're not allowed to talk about it anymore. We're not allowed to talk
We're
about
not
it.
talking about. We're talking about us now.
I'm not. I'm saying we're not allowed to talk about it because
He's
I'm just
upset.
still thinking about
He's
it.
upset.
I'm definitely like heated still about the topic we can't talk about anymore.
Final round.
All right, final one.
All right, what's that final topic for today, G?
I hope it's an old one.
I had to take a second there to cool down.
Oh yes. I like this one.
I don't like this one. What is it?
East versus West hip hop.
Okay, I'll let you start this one because I didn't start listening to hip hop until like probably 6 or 7 years ago, like continuously. So I'm not really East versus West Coast guy because I wasn't into that scene.
I have this argument with a few of my friends actually.
You want to name drop them?
Friends. My buddy Jared is one of them. He's all West Coast, and I think a lot of people who live in Colorado are more grown to the West Coast hip hop.
And for those people who don't know, I totally know, but for those people who don't know, can you explain the difference of West Coast and East Coast? Like the rappers on each side of it, I guess.
So West Coast, you have like Tupac, you have NWA, Snoop Dogg.
So California-based rappers.
Yeah, California-based rappers. You have like Bone Thugs and Harmony. I think are technically considered West Coast. I might be wrong on that one. East Coast is more like Tribe Called Quest, Nas, Biggie Smalls, P Diddy, I guess. Wu-Tang Clan, like a lot of those guys. I personally like East Coast a little bit better, mainly because the flow is more energetic. So like if I'm gonna listen, if I had to choose, like, hey, you're gonna go work out, you could listen to West Coast hip hop or East Coast hip hop. I'm gonna go with East Coast all the time, every single time. I just think there was more of a movement that was meant more so for like an energy level, and I feel like with West Coast, not to say that it's bad, it was more so lyrical, so like lyrically, like just really well done. So like Tupac, when you think of his songs, you think of like California Love, Dear Mama, like he had a way with the words for sure, but it would never get me hype. Like it's more like a party kind of like feel to it. With East Coast, it's kind of like, oh snap, like Biggie Smalls, anything that Biggie Smalls would do, you're just like, man, this guy has flow and like you can feel it, like.
Yeah, and I guess this is definitely more of a comparison like back in the day before all the like ATL scene exploded, and now they have to get thrown into the mix as well. It's not necessarily just East Coast and West Coast anymore. There's all this new like big scenes that are coming up that rival both East Coast and West Coast in style wise.
Yeah, I don't know if Atlanta's it's its own animal, man. Like Outkast was its own thing because it wasn't neither nor. Like it was its own, like they're like their own thing. And like from Atlanta, you have Ludacris, you have Outkast. Oh, who else is up from there?
You're gonna get so much heat if you can't name the X person's favorite rapper from that place.
Right. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of the people that I like from Atlanta.
Yeah.
T.I.'s from there.
This is why I threw a disclaimer out that I don't know anything about hip hop
I
or
think
rap.
T-Pain's from Atlanta. Actually, I think it might be from Florida. Anyways, but I don't know, man. Like there was that whole beef and things like that, and it's also interesting to look into that beef just because I feel like Suge Knight was the one that started it all.
Yeah,
I feel like there was like a unification in hip hop, and then the Source Awards came out, and then like Suge Knight was like, if you want to be with like the real people, like come to Death Row, and there's just like
That's a good Suge Knight impression for me, never hearing what he sounds like.
definitely not as good as he is, but I mean I don't know, like what rappers do you like from like the golden age of hip hop?
So I guess when I started like kind of branching into hip hop, I was in high school. But in high school, I was definitely more like classic rock, really. So I listened to all the
Daughtry and Nickelback and
classic rock bands. Yeah, let's not talk about Nickelback. I already get enough heat from so many people about Nickelback. But then I started like listening to, I wouldn't call them like basic rap groups, but definitely listen to like Eazy-E and NWA and Tupac and Biggie. But that was pretty much it. Just like the people who sold really good t-shirts were the rappers that I was listening to.
No, for sure.
But then like as I got older, I started like listening to like more broad selection, and I still don't listen to enough to like pinpoint them to
Or they're like
where what scene they're from. But like I started listening to MF Doom a lot. I think that
Dude,
dude's
MF Doom is
I think that
legit.
dude's awesome. Like Kid Cudi, like his first Man on the Moon album definitely changed a lot of my opinions about rap. And this was kind of, I think that came out around the end of me being in high school. And that's when I kind of started branching out to a lot of different rap groups. And I know I started listening to A Tribe Called Quest later in life than I probably should have. And I think they did a fantastic job on just the music, the production they all did. And that was kind of like where I stand on hip hop, is like anything, pretty much any rap that I've listened to now, I like and I appreciate. I bet there's bad rap out there, but I haven't found it
terrible
yet.
rap out there,
I
for
agree,
sure.
but I just don't listen to enough to find it.
Just listen to Case 107.5, man. You'll find most of it there.
Yeah, my mom
She
has
won't let
been
you?
in radio. No, my mom's been in radio since I was born, so I don't listen to radio at all.
That's fair. So I don't know. That the biggest thing about the East Coast hip hop for me is also that it is like the godfather of hip hop. Like that's where hip hop really kind of like came from.
Yeah. And I guess it was bigger in the 90s on the East versus West Coast kind of vibe. And that's where the whole Tupac and Biggie, I don't know, what do you want to call it, like rivalry came from.
The cool thing about it though is it's kind of like you have to ask yourself what kind of mood are you in, right? So if you think about like West Coast is all about traffic. It's all about cars. It's all about, like being like stuck in the situations. And then you look at like East Coast, you think of like New York, where you're just kind of like subways and walking places and doing
traffic
this.
and cars.
And the cool thing about hip hop is that you can actually feel that in the music, right?
Yeah.
So like I feel like a lot of the producers who were doing this were kind of like, hey, where are we going to listen to this music for the most part? Like, oh, in my car, cool. We're gonna have to make tracks that sound like you're gonna be in the car. So you think of like Gin and Juice. That's totally like a car banger, right? Like,
yeah,
you put that in your car, you're driving, and you feel it. When you listen to like A Tribe Called Quest, when they're like, "Can I kick it?" You're like, dude, like I can see myself like walking like down the street and like going to the subway and like just jamming out to "Can I Kick It," and it just fits really well. My mood is always gonna go to to the latter, right? Yeah, the latter. So like I love East Coast for me. It's just so much more. It's so much more chill, but it has such an intense flow to it as well that I can't help but just be like, this is so much better than West Coast. Not to say that West Coast is bad. It's just
your preferred flavor.
If I can choose, I'm gonna be like, yo, East Coast all the way. Like,
so yeah, it's basically like you're saying, like it's just what you prefer. Like, everyone likes cherry Coke over Coke, but cherry Coke, everyone knows cherry Coke.
I like vanilla Coke better.
All right.
But anyways,
but yeah, you're saying like East Coast is your cherry Coke.
That's fair. It's my vanilla Coke.
Yeah, you're vanilla Coke. Weirdo. Nobody likes vanilla Coke.
East Coast,
Anyone who
baby.
tells you they like vanilla Coke is a liar.
You're a liar.
That's time. You can't call me a liar anymore. It's time.
Well, there you have it, you guys. Tell us what you think in the comment section, or
that was an awkward pause you just did.
That's okay. We can cut it out.
Yeah, thanks for listening to episode 3 coming back at you. Let us know what you guys think. We're still taking any ideas to throw into the hat. If you're listening to this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe.
If you listen to us on any podcast, thank you guys again. Make sure you guys hit the follow button. That does help us out with getting hopefully some sponsors someday. And it helps you guys get notified when we put a new episode out. So, hey, you guys have a good Halloween, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, have a good one, guys.
Pew, pew.
You can just not do that again. It'll be cool. Nah, I said don't do that again.
I'll